الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد خاتم الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه إلى يوم الدين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this earth and what's in it and what's on it. And له الملك وله الأمر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want us to proceed in this life, as we all know, in fairness and justice as much as possible. Even though the first couple sons, they have committed a violation, at least one of them, and Habil and Qabil, one of them killed his brother. The Habil did his evil deed, and then he found out that, what did I do? It is a big mistake. So since then until now, the human being is doing sometimes big mistakes. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam to this person who committed the probably biggest mistake among many other people, when he said, "Ana rabbukum al-a'la," he felt the arrogancy of claiming that he is God. He is the one who does everything he wants without accountability. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that he reached the level of Taha, the ultimate. He felt like, nobody could stop me. I am the one and only. And if you notice, we have stopped in the ayat in the first rak'ah when he said, اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى, and then اذهبا إلى فرعون, both of you, Musa and Harun, إنه طغى. So it's repeated twice here about Fir'aun. Why? He exceeded the limit as a human being and with his means and abilities. And when he was able to do everything good, instead he don't want to. He evicted the people, he ran after them until he reached the ocean, and the ocean, closed on him, and he drowned with his power. And here he realized that, he is weak and vulnerable. And last minute before he died, he said, آمنت بالذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل. Now I am a mu'min. Now I can follow Musa. It's too late. The same thing happened with the Tughat throughout the history of humanity. They reached a point where they killed thousands and sometimes millions of people unfairly and unjustly. And at the last minute, either they kill themselves or run away or being killed themselves, in a certain way, violent way, and they realize their limitation and weaknesses. In that regard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, the mu'mineen is the contrary, the opposite. And he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الذين إن مكناهم في الأرض أقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأمروا بالمعروف ونهوا عن المنكر. The believers, the true believers, when we give them the authority and the ability to rule in earth, they command what's right, forbid what's wrong, establish Iman, establish Islam, establish the Deen, and they care about the people, and they have that mercy and that kindness, and they will not be out of norms in dealing with everyone and knowing their limitation. الذين إن مكناهم في الأرض. So التمكين في الأرض, to be in charge of this earth and to be in the side of Rabbul Alameen, the creators, so you will be in harmony with the creators and the people and everything else. The bashar, as we say, and the hajar and the animals, the buildings, the nature and everything else is really to be, and this is sign is a humble person with humility and person with knowing your limitation. And that comes from the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the revelation, the proper revelation, and from the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. when he said in the hadith that the people who are in charge of the believers, they will be, if they are kind to them, من مكنه الله في عباده فرفق بهم اللهم من تولى من أمر أمتي أمرا فرفق بهم فارفق به ومن تولى من أمر أمتي أمرا فشق عليهم فاشقق عليه. Ya Allah, whoever that become in charge of the affair of my people or my ummah, then be kind to him. If he is kind to them, be kind to him. And if he is not kind to them, شق عليهم, make it hard, difficult, challenging, then فاشقق عليه, then make it hard on him. And that goes, in fact, for every person, not necessarily just a Muslim. You know, imagine now if the administration here, they said instead of evicting people and cutting families and taking people away in certain unfair and unjust way, saying, okay, all of you are people of the land, you are here, do your best and you are forgiven and there is a pardon for all of you, start your process and do good. What will happen? Nothing. Goodness to the people. And instead, if you are exceeding the limits and becoming tagha and saying that I am Rabbukum al-A'la, and people try, or not try, but rather they do treat that ruler as God who can do whatever he wants, then I believe that the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come soon. We have examples of that. What's happened, lately, as you know, in Gaza, what's happened in Syria, what will be happening in many other places soon. Similar things. When people are so violent, they exceed the limit, they go beyond limitation of humanity and order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, punishment will come to them. Dear brothers and sisters, we have to always humble ourselves to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not exceed the proper limitation that Allah put for this human being that so vulnerable and weak. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ ضَعْفٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us from a weak elements. Do not become much more than who you are as a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah make us understand and realize our limitation, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give our people the tamkeen in this earth, the ability to rule in justice and fairness. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم واغفر لنا يا مولانا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.